Sponsored by Shire Ford Dealers, supporting great football across the region.
The region's top two Football League clubs meet for the first time ever on live TV. It's Barnsley against Grimsby Town at Oakwell. Now, it's been a season that's promised more than it's delivered so far for both these teams. Grimsby on the right in the black and white could return to the top half of Division 1 by winning here, whereas Barnsley and the red shirts, well, they need the points to escape from the bottom three. Good afternoon to you from Oakwell. It's an afternoon that's set fair in terms of conditions, pitch and players for flowing football. And when Barnsley appeared on live TV last season, the goals flowed too.
Begins with the cross, it's a good one, and is that the goal for Barnsley? It is from O'Connell. Great start to the second half. Newcastle caught napping. And it's a Biggins shot and a Biggins goal. Wonderful strike from Wayne Biggins.
Well, now it's the former Sheffield Wednesday stalwart Viv Anderson, 30 times an England international, who's in charge at Oakwell. It's his first experience at the manager's office, and for all his playing experience, management hasn't been quite what he expected.
Not quite what I expected. I expected to win a few more games. But in fairness, what we're trying to achieve here is a type of football that I enjoy watching and playing. So it all takes time. But it's a slow transitional period, and we're looking forward to every game that comes along.
Delighted to welcome Dave Bassett, the manager of Sheffield United, once more to join us this afternoon. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
It's been a tough start for Viv so far.
Yeah, it has been difficult, but there's a different world from being a player to a manager, and it takes time to settle in. And Viv and Danny Wilson have taken over here, and they're imposing their personality on the club, and it will take time, and the club will have to be patient. He's got to be judged more in the long term than the short term.
Quite hard being a player manager particularly as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not easy doing that, but I'm sure Viv sees himself eventually not playing, but if he can help the team out meanwhile, there's no great problem. There is an advantage when you're out there playing that you can put things right, but it's not so easy sometimes when you're involved because you can't see the whole picture. OK, well, Grimsby's problem last season and this season has been scoring goals, and up to now the burden has fallen chiefly on Clive Mendonca. The 25-year-old man from Wearside is obliged with 10 goals so far this season. But in the last 5 games, he hasn't scored, and Grimsby haven't won. But help is at hand. The former Coventry and Blackburn striker Steve Livingston has arrived from Chelsea on loan, and that's boosted the manager's hopes more than somewhat.
Unfortunately for us, the goals have dried up somewhat. I don't think we've played that poorly, actually, but results haven't gone with us either. So hopefully today we'll see a bit of a change in fortunes for us.
Do you think Steve Livingston is going to be the answer? It's difficult for a player coming on loan to then fit in, isn't it?
Yes, it's not easy, but when you've got a crisis and injuries, as Alan's got, you take somebody on loan, and if they can help produce, and I understood he played very well against Leicester, and he's likely to score goals. Alan may be looking to keep him longer on loan, or he may be even looking to purchase him, similar to what he did with Sheffield United when he took Clive Mendonca.
Do you think there's a temptation in Alan Buckley's mind, perhaps, that he's got to abandon this style of nice football and try and play more directly?
Alan's his own man. He's been a good manager, and he will continue to play in the way that he feels is best for Alan Buckley and his club. That's his decision. Each manager stands by that, and the fact the goals have dried up will be a concern to him, but he'll believe in his principles and carry on that way. OK,
thanks very much. Stay with us throughout the afternoon, won't you? Don't just watch the live matches. We've got goals coming up for you from yesterday's action, and some belting goals that are amongst them too. But first, let's settle back and watch the action here at Oakwell. First Division action, Barnsley and Grimsby, Chris McMenemy and John Hill.
Thank you, Nick. Well, Barnsley's dreadful home form will certainly be put to the test today. Just 1 league win in 7 attempts, that against Nottingham Forest. The boss is back today. Viv Anderson, who didn't play in the midweek draw at Oxford, restores himself to the lineup. 3 changes in all. Anderson's assistant to former Sheffield Wednesday colleague Danny Wilson has a knee injury and misses a league game for the first time since coming to Oakwell. Gareth Williams starts again for the first time this season at left back, and Wayne Biggins, last season's top scorer, reinstated in attack to the exclusion of Andy Liddell. Well, Neil Redfern has taken over from Biggins as Barnsley's deadliest marksman. He's notched goals in all the last 4 matches. Grimsby have a horrendous injury list. They've lost 10 senior players since the start of the campaign, but there is light at the end of the tunnel for Alan Buckley. Today he's glad to have David Gilbert available after a calf strain, and long-standing casualty Tony Rees is back sooner than expected for a place on the bench. And Jim Dobbin, once a favourite with the Barnsley fans, has developed a knack for scoring against them since he joined Grimsby, including one this season here in the Anglo-Italian Cup. Referee today is Pip Wright from Northwich. Barnsley are in the red shirts and the white shorts, and Grimsby in their new strip this season. It's not the old traditional black and white stripes as such, more white with a black pinstripe. And here is Livingston on the chase straight away. Chris McManamy alongside me. I know you'll be interested to see Livingston, in particular the partnership he forms with Mendonca.
Yes, as Alan said before the game, the goals have dried up recently for Grimsby, and you need a bit of a spark, and this game he'll be hoping that Livingston gives the team that spark.
Pitch is good today, and I've seen some terrific pitches this season, but I've got to say none better than Blundell Park. I went to Grimsby in midweek when they played Leicester, and it really is like a billiard table up there. Biggins with that little header down, Bryson just couldn't collect. And Anderson makes his first intervention, a good tackle it was too. It's a poorly directed pass, and Mendonca just offside. Anderson with the free kick. Barnsley not had many problems in scoring goals recently, but their appalling defensive record will have to be seen to. There is Redfern, who's certainly been around the Football League. Well over 450 league appearances in his career. So from the boot of Paul Crichton, once of Doncaster Rovers, there's an offside flag at this end now. In fact, the referee has awarded a free kick in Grimsby's favour for a push. Well, that surprised Viv Anderson. I think it surprised 1 or 2 others in the crowd as well. Well, we saw Wayne Biggins score in the opening to this programme from just this sort of position for Barnsley. Let's see what Grimsby can do here. Dave Gilbert and Jim Dobbin. Gilbert might have a crack with the left foot, or Dobbin might try his luck with the right. Lee Butler on the line, and indeed it is Dobbin, but straight into that wall. And how often do we see that? Tony Ford. Anderson will put this one out. Looped up into that penalty area. Anderson's under pressure. Mendonca trying to turn. He just couldn't, but Dobbin's there. Now knocked into the path of Biggins. Might be a bit long for Redfern. Went out.
Yeah, Barnsley will be pleased to have Wayne Biggins back in the side. He's one of those players that excites the supporters, can score spectacular goals, as we saw before the game in one of the previous times we've been here. And you never know what's going to happen when Wayne gets the ball.
Eden looking to pick out Bryson up the middle, but no support for the former Sheffield United man, Ian Bryson. Deacon under this one. That's forward from Mark Lever. And Mendonca looking to get in behind Charlie Bishop, and he'll get there first. Bishop looking to hold off Mendonca. Clever ball squared towards Dobbin. Grimsby certainly trying to play up the middle, and that was a bit of hesitancy there between Bishop and Butler. Let's let Livingston in. Lee Butler here restored last week in goal in place of David Watson, the under-21 international. A rather rough challenge by Bishop this time, leaves Mendonca hobbling. I think Mr. Wright will want a word with Bishop before the free kick can be taken. Barnsley with this awful disciplinary record as well this season. Bishop's had 1 or 2 bookings recently. Anderson's been suspended and Jerry Taggart out with a 7-match suspension at the moment. And possibly Grimsby have made the brighter start.
Yes, they've tried to take the game to Barnsley early doors, and 2 players in Grimsby's side that are always interesting to watch, and it's Dave Gilbert on the left-hand side and Gary Childs on the right. They play with a lot of width, and if they get into the game early and get a bit of confidence, they provide excellent service for the forward players.
O'Connell's done well here. Got past 2 defenders, taken in by Biggins. Redfern surveying it for the on-rushing Fleming. Redfern's touch just let him down, but Fleming's still there. Trying to give a bit of width, and Barnsley do have plenty of width as a rule. Here's Archdeacon, who's very much a left-sided player, but beyond Wayne Biggins this time. Mendonca, and he's got a man on his right in Gary Childs. He wanted it first time, but Mendonca tries his luck and it whistles wide of the left-hand upright. 10 goals this season, Clive Mendonca. He's in the scoring lists. Not a bad try.
A little bit of an argument there with Gary Childs. Gary Childs was desperately wanting the ball played in. A lot of space in front of him, and Clive Mendonca, who, as we heard before the game, has been struggling to score lately, just trying to force the game a little bit there. Took on a couple of players and shot really from a long way out when Gary Childs was in possibly a better position.
Begins. And that will be a free kick, Barnsley's way. Free kick for Barnsley. Useful position as well, but it's much too close to Crichton. That was a waste. Spreads it out left here for Gareth Williams now. Archdeacon making a run ahead of him. Here comes O'Connell. Good ball in from Archdeacon this time, but Crichton had spotted it. There was no jump ahead of him from Biggins. So Ford hits this one longer. Bishop has come across. Archdeacon. Well, matches between these two have generally produced goals over the last few seasons. John Dennis, the Barnsley chairman, saying before the game that they've been rather too attractive for his liking. But directors do go through hell during the course of 90 minutes sometimes. That's neat. That's good play from Williams and Archdeacon. Cut back inside. Bryson tries to make something of it. And they keep it moving as well. Here's Biggins now. Good ball in, and Grimsby would have been in trouble. They might still be. The shot from Eden zooms over the top of the Grimsby bar. Nicky Eden, who's not got a goal in league football, and that's as close as he's come.
First real bit of penetrative play from Barnsley. They've got it wide in a good position. Checks back, has a little look up, swings a lovely ball in, cleared by the defender. Good technique. Kept his head over the ball and just dipped over the top. A nice little strike from Eden. Ford eludes his man neatly, and then Dobbin.
First time we've seen Livingston really, and Bishop hustled him out of that. Grimsby getting bodies around well then. Sent back by Futcher, another former Barnsley man of course. Had some tremendous seasons here, Paul Futcher. Livingston with a header, just beyond Mendonca. Now Fleming. Croft. Ran it out. 10 minutes played, no goals. And just that one real chance which Eden took a pop at. Didn't score, but certainly the best we've seen so far.
Grimsby have got a nice balance in the back four of experience and youth. You've got Paul Futcher there, who was a tremendous buy by Alan Buckley a few seasons ago at 10,000 from Halifax, along with Tony Ford at right back, and then two younger lads, Lever and Croft at left back.
Here's Biggins. We know what he can do in and around the penalty area. Toe poke in the air, and then two Grimsby men went for the same ball. Charles does well there. Deacon can't keep it in. Nicked inside, Childs to Groves to Dobbin. That's good play. Livingston curse him because he didn't control it first time, but it's still Grimsby coming forward with Childs. Livingston a better touch that time, opens it for Ford. Fleming hits it long, that's a bit of a chase for Biggins though. Quite and cool as you like, plays it out to Gary Croft. And Mendonca's onside here. Surely this could well be the first one. Butler stands his ground, but Clive Mendonca, given that sort of opportunity, doesn't miss. The flag has stayed down. Mendonca's got his 11th of the season. The Grimsby fans are jubilant, and Barnsley's defence left asking questions of itself again.
Well, the linesman's getting a lot of stick there off one or two Barnsley players. I don't think, without looking at the replay, I don't think it was offside when the ball was played. He kept his head, didn't stop, went through, and for somebody who hasn't scored for a while, was very cool in the way he finished the goal. There we go, just to the side of Lee Butler. When the ball was played, we have to go back a little bit on the replay, but I don't think he was offside. I think they were waiting for an extra touch on the ball, Barnsley, which didn't happen.
Here come Barnsley straight away with their response. Bryson and Futcher's clearance effective. Well, that's certainly a major talking point at the start of this game. Clive Mendonca, though, it's a fact, has got his name on the score sheet again, and Grimsby are a goal to the good. And here come Grimsby once more with Livingston tussling for it. It's just what Barnsley didn't need in view of the goals they've been conceding this season. Well, as Chris McMahon said, be interesting to see that one from a bit further back, and that's going to be a free kick now, and that's exasperation setting in with Neil Redfern.
When the ball was played from the middle of the midfield, Mendonca wasn't offside, and there was a suspicion of a little pass in between that ball played from midfield, but it wasn't there, and he played on, and the Barnsley defence stood still.
To be fair, Mendonca took it as calmly as though he was playing on the beach in the West Indies, didn't he? But you said not scored a goal for a long time, but he'll be very, very pleased with that. And so will Alan Buckley, because Grimsby's away record recently has not been up to it. They haven't won any of their last 5 matches, and that's only their second goal in 6. But here they're looking for another from Dobbin. Great stop, but Livingston might still get it. Right across the face, and I think Butler might have touched it, but this time the linesman has flagged for offside anyway. Livingston looking for his first goal in a Grimsby shirt is close.
Yeah, nice bit of link-up play. Mendonca involved again, and a lot of space there for Dobbin to advance and get a shot in, and Livingston hurried his little collection there, but he was offside anyway.
Allowed to run through by Lever. It's getting himself into trouble. Puts it out for the throw-in. Well, Barnsley have lost here 5 times this season. Middlesbrough, Birmingham, Leicester, Charlton and Southend have all won at Oakwell, and now Grimsby are a goal up against them. And that's the sort of thing that nags away in the mind. Quarter of an hour gone. Barnsley 0, Grimsby Town 1. Barnsley have actually won twice here this season, but only once in the league, and their other win was in the Anglo-Italian Cup against Grimsby Town, 2-1. Now then, Gilbert's sprinting up and trying to get into a shooting position, and he's fouled the opponent. Fleming had gone stride for stride with him, and little Gilbert overdid the challenge. A giveaway, and Childs will have support right and left. Ford is on his right, Childs again. Coming through the middle is Dobbin. He loves to have a shot. Childs is in a good position. The ball in towards Livingston. It might be a second for Paul Groves. What a save from Butler. It should have been 2-0 without question.
A nice bit of play again, good build-up play, little triangles, but again a lot of space in the box there. When the first shot went in, the first to react was the Grimsby player and not the Barnsley one. Lovely ball in from the right-hand side as well by Childs. Here again, look at the reaction from defenders there. They're standing off. Eventually a great save from Lee Butler.
Eden threads this one through, but it's gone all the way through. And Grimsby must be lifted by the start they've made. They've scored 1 and created 2 good chances now. Fine reflex stop it was from Butler, justifying his recall to the side. He might be busy again here now, although Anderson gets up well this time to clear. Butcher, no foul. Over the top towards Livingston, just beyond him.
From Barnsley's point of view, what you don't want to do with a side like Grimsby, knowing that they like to play a short passing game, so-called short passing game, is give them space and time to get that game going. And at the moment, they're just getting into the stride, Grimsby, and as we've seen, are giving 1 or 2 problems to the Barnsley back 4.
Williams has found Biggins. But again, just looking at Viv Anderson's programme notes today, and talking about his dreadful defensive record, he says it must stop, and if players are not capable of eliminating sloppy goals, he'll have them out of the club. And he can't wait too long before he takes action, says the manager. Barnsley in the bottom 3, remember. A draw today would take them out of it. But they're a goal down. There is Anderson setting an example. Well, there's a first. Gilbert climbing high, winning a header. He's only 5'5".
He'll battle for everything, Dave Gilbert. Well,
yeah, he's been a terrific pro for Grimsby since he joined them from non-league football. Grimsby battling hard in general there to win it back. Ford has Childs on his right. Here is Gary Childs, and he's having a purple patch at the moment, and he's played it up here for Mendonca, who is offside.
A few ironic cheers from the supporters there. Wonder why.
Doesn't show much emotion, does he, Mendonca? And he didn't when he scored. Took the goal with aplomb, though. Here's useful play from Barnsley, but O'Connell handled. The referee, Mr. Wright, was close up to the action, and O'Connell didn't protest against the decision. And Grimsby have a man down injured, Livingston. So that's the Barnsley bench. Danny Wilson there. Alongside him, Eric Winstanley. on his left. And that's Danny Wilson now giving the message.
It'll be interesting to see if it's easier for, possibly easier for Viv and Danny now that one of them's on the bench. I mean, they've both been playing together most of the season, and it must be a very difficult job when you're both on the pitch and the game's going on. And now possibly with Danny sat there having an overview of the situation, you can pass one or two little comments and organise things a little bit better for Viv when Viv's playing on the pitch.
Steve Livingston trying to impress during his month's loan with Grimsby, and he's certainly done that so far. Man of the match in midweek against Leicester. For Mendonca again, shadowed by Archdeacon. Shows good close control though. And Ford, who only a week ago was on his way to Bradford City and then changed his mind. Still at Grimsby therefore, and has got his place back in the first team.
He started at Grimsby many years ago as a young player and as a winger, and he's travelled around and had one or two excellent moves, and obviously still in demand if Bradford are interested in him.
The opposite right back there, Fleming, who was in the picture, then Redfern, the captain, up towards Biggins, who's got a man inside him. That's Bryson, but cleared by Lever. And Donker and Bishop tussling this time, and Barnsley come off best. Good use of the chest there by Ford. Many ways to control the football, and that's just one of them. Butcher looks to hit the target man, and one of those was Livingston. That's going to be much too far for Mendonca.
I don't think Paul Futcher's given the ball away yet. He's using his head, his experience, and great passing from him at the moment.
Well, Livingston gets a foot in there, and it's one possession back for Grimsby Town. They've had a very promising start to this match. Barnsley created one chance so far, that shot by Nicky Eden. Here goes Dave Gilbert for Grimsby. There's a lot of movement about Grimsby this afternoon. Barnsley trying to close them down now, but they force them back over the halfway line. And Donker, still sharp, boosted by his goal no doubt. Childs, who's hit a few goals in recent weeks. Full of confidence. Here's Gilbert now on the left for Grimsby Town, and it just bobbled in front of him. I think he was torn in two minds there as to whether to have a crack or pull it back, and it just bobbled unfortunately for Dave Gilbert.
The two wide men I talked about early in the game, Gary Charles picking the ball up and really going at the heart of Barnsley's defence, and a little bit of interplay, and ended up with Dave Gilbert on the other side, who probably hurried his shot, but you don't want to get those two involved too much in this game, because they're good players, they know what to do, a bit of experience, and will really run at people if they get a chance.
Thank you, Chris. Let's have a word from Rob McCaffrey, who's got some injury news, I think, on the touchline.
Yes, there's concern on either bench. On the Grimsby bench about Steve Livingston, who's strained his back. On the Barnsley bench, they're asking them to push up the defence, to squeeze up, but they've not actually, as yet, got the offside completely off pat. And although they're asking them to play it out early from the back, they're asking them to get it tighter straight away.
Thank you, Rob. Here goes Groves for Grimsby, and they've two men in the middle. If the ball, it is good, and Mendonca was there again, and then Groves. That's a brilliant clearance from Fleming. That was on its way into the Barnsley net without doubt. Butcher steps forward, but now Barnsley have a 4 up against 4, but the sting's been taken out of it somewhat already. That was a terrific clearance from the Northern Ireland full-back Gary Fleming, though. Grimsby were destined to be 2 goals ahead then from the foot of Groves. Instead it's Barnsley looking for an equaliser. Down the line, Williams, Biggins. Lever stuck with him. Williams again. This is neat interplay. Is there anything on the end of it? No, plucked out of the air by Crichton. Well, what a moment this was We're hoping to show you that clip just a moment ago where Fleming cleared off the goal line. We'll try and do that later for you. Well, there you are, Grimsby 4 shots on the mark already, but just one of them has counted. To be fair to Barnsley, that nil doesn't obviously include the Nicky Eden effort, which whistled just over the top. It was a good shot there. Futcher. Can't find Livingston this time. Anderson had read that. But it's clear there is frailty in that Barnsley defence.
Yes, as Dave was saying before the team, the managers are trying to impose their personality on each side, and you can see with Alan Buckley's side, he's been there a long time. They know what they're playing, the system they're playing, they're nice and comfortable on the ball, and Viv's still in that early phase of his management career at Barnsley where he's trying to get that going, and that's the glaring thing at the moment between the two sides.
25 minutes gone, Barnsley still want an equaliser, and here is their captain trying to create one for them. Gone out. Things just not happening for Barnsley at the moment. And that's typical of a team that's in trouble, of course. That's neatly done by Redfern. He's the one player who does look full of confidence. Fleming, he's had a good start as well. Redfern and Fleming once more. Biggins, who's got a free kick out of this. Groves' challenge. As we said earlier, Barnsley have scored enough goals here this season, but they've been conceding too many, so now's their chance to get one from this free kick. With Archdeacon leaving it for Redfern, pumped in towards the back post. O'Connell there! Is this an equaliser? He's hooked up the line, and no, the referee looks towards the linesman. It didn't cross the line. Well, those are awful decisions for referees and linesmen to give, but Paul Crichton breathes easily. Looked for a moment as though it might creep over that line.
A lovely free kick floated right to beyond the far post, and I think it was Brendan O'Connell got in a good position. Great header back into space, and there's Muck and Nettles now who wants to throw them. So I think Viv's in there trying to get ahead of his team into goal, and somebody's done what to clear it off the line, but a good chance for Barnsley.
And again, Barnsley will think that's typical of the way things are going for them at the moment. But you've got to keep working, and that's what they do now. Here comes Gareth Williams, a total slice, and even then it went onto the head of Redfern, and it's just going to go out. Right, I think we can now have a look at that chance where Grimsby nearly went 2 ahead. Here it is.
Livingston, I think, we had the first headers come back to Crofts, I think, there. Groves, and he's had a tremendous strike and great defending at the far post. That's what you want your defenders doing, in a good covering position and clearing to safety.
All credit to Gary Fleming for that. Barnsley's most capped international player, along with Jerry Taggart, who's missing today. Halfway through a 7-match suspension. There's Fleming. Barnsley 0, Grimsby Town 1, just short of the half-hour mark at Oakwell. So only one effort has counted, but it could have been 2 or 3. Oh, that's a neat header. And then Archdeacon on to Williams. Archdeacon playing in the left-back slot today, and Williams up in midfield. Redfern has to contrive the space to make the ball for Fleming good, and Crichton comes and makes an easy catch, and he's quickly become a favourite with Grimsby's fans, the former Doncaster Rovers keeper. Anderson solid. Now Futcher. Tony Ford. Bishop doesn't stand on any ceremony with that clearance, and then Bryson's done well, and Williams trying to get in with Ford, and he stuck to him, did Ford, but Williams still has the chance of the ball in. Redfern thumps it a foot wide, and that would have been a picture goal from Neil Redfern, the man whose shooting boots have been so good recently. Looked on for another one.
Yes, the chance came from a longer type of ball, shall we say, and it's dropped into the box, did well, fought for the ball, crossed in, and what a tremendous volley on the run there. Just clipped the post, and he's not too happy about that, is he? Good strike, though.
Well, he's got about 70-odd goals in his career as Neil Redfern, and he generally produces spectacular ones. Williams coming more and more into the game. Usually takes a time when you've been out injured all season, as he has. Pumped up into the space behind Lever for Biggins here to have a tilt, and then brave defending by Croft, skillful defending too, and then he's brought down by Redfern.
I think Barnsley have really got to try and get the ball forward a little bit quicker. When you've got people like Biggins and Bryson up front who thrive on good early service, they're hanging around a little bit at the back in full-back positions and in midfield, and they really want some good early service to run onto.
Well, Barnsley always try and establish a good rapport with the local community, and on Friday night here they had a bonfire night at which 5,500 people came, and anybody who came that night and retained their tickets was allowed in free today. Well, that's great to see. And that wasn't just children, that was old age pensioners, anybody in fact, and here come Barnsley trying to reward those customers with a goal, but they're still a goal behind. Williams, who's just produced a couple of telling balls in, tries to get another one, and it's not a bad one either. Biggins can't turn, Futcher forces it out. It's Barnsley's best spell, this, after a dithery start. He's onside, Williams. Deprived of the cross this time. But Barnsley are getting Gareth Williams more and more into the match. Redfern will take the corner for them. And Viv Anderson's gone up as always. He's got a few goals this season. Well, he knows his side need one badly now, and here's the chance. It flicked away off a forehead, and Gilbert clears for Grimsby. And Groves does likewise. Nice control again from Williams. Eden, here's a dangerous ball in, but Futcher's there, stout as always. Barnsley definitely pepping it up at the moment. Lever's clearance good, and Livingston and Childs now combine. Deacon acts as the mainspring for Barnsley once more. They need a goal to reward the pressure. They're stroking it around confidently enough at the moment. Redfern, that's neat, and the ball in might be dangerous too, coming towards O'Connell, across the face of goal and beyond Bryson, cleared out to Eden, who's had one good effort. This one's not quite so good. Well, Dave Bassett's here with us this afternoon, the Sheffield United manager. Dave, what are your feelings about the first 30-odd minutes?
Well, early on, the first 20 minutes have been Grimsby's entirely, and they went in front, and Barnsley were playing the offside trap, and they've not really done it well. I think they've been moaning to the linesman, but they haven't looked particularly safe in that department. But they're having a good spell now, and really they need to score, because this is a good spell for them in the last 10 minutes or so. And if they can get back to make it level, obviously that's going to give them a greater chance of winning the game now.
Thanks, Dave. That's one of the key points always in a game, that you've got to make your pressure tell, because if you don't, you get penalised. Grimsby still leading through Clive Mendonca's 11th goal of the season.